Oh, the things I did and the things I'm going to do. Welcome back once again, Book Dragons. I am so glad that you are here. It's that time of the month again. Yes, indeed, we're going to find out all the good stuff that I did in July, and we're going to talk about August. Before I do so, though, make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to join my Discord if you would like to join me and other wonderful people in discussing nerdy things. That's a great place to do it. And I think that about covers it. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I do have something special I'm going to talk about that's kind of out of the norm for my monthly update. So you do need to stick around to the end of the video, okay? Don't go anywhere. So I've done things a little bit differently this time around. Normally I break it up between everything I did in July and everything I did in August following that. So, I'll do books I read in July and then movies and stuff that I've watched and so on. This time around, I'm doing it different. I decided to make it a little bit more concise. I'm going to have all of my reading right up front. So we'll talk about July and then we'll talk about August. And then I've got a media section talking about all the stuff that I watched. And then we're going to talk about stuff that I played, if I played anything, which I did. So we'll get to that. Then we'll talk about a couple of other things at the end. So let me know in the comments below after you watch the video if you like this format, if it seems to be a little bit cleaner. I think it is, but we'll see, right? We'll see what you, my lovely watchers, think. All right, let's start talking about the stuff I've been reading and what I'm going to read, okay? In the month of July, I read Brandon Sanderson's third secret novel, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I do have a review for it if you would like to watch that. I can link that in the cards at the end so that you can check that out. But long story short, I did enjoy myself. It was a fun time. I also read Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames, which is just a fantastic novel, guys. So much fun. It will show up as my most recent video in the cards at the end, so you can check that out as well. I also finished The Prophet of Edan, which is the second book written by Philip Chase, our lovely fellow booktuber, and it was so good, guys. I really enjoyed it. I won't be doing a dedicated review for the second book, which is kind of my normal. I wait until I've finished reading the series before I give it a final review. But his third book is coming out in the next couple of months, so I will be able to hopefully finish that out and have a full review up for the series for you guys. And then I did also finish The Liar's Knot, which is book 2 in the Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick. The final book is coming out in August. However, I won't be reading that in August. But just like with Prophet of Edan, I won't be doing a dedicated review for the second book. I want to wait and see how the series finishes out, and then I will give you guys a lovely review and see what I think of it, okay? But I really enjoyed The Liar's Knot. I had a blast with it. I buddy read that book with Angie, the bookaholic, and hopefully we might be getting together for another live stream on that. So stay tuned for more information on that, okay? So let's talk about what I plan to read in August. I am going to be reading Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. This book ended up being the winner of my speed dating video that I did recently. I'm so excited to get into this book and see what it's like. This will be my first Jay Kristoff book. I've never read Jay Kristoff before, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm very excited. I've heard mostly good things, some negative things, so I'm keeping an open mind about it. And then I am also going to be reading The Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker, I've heard so many good things about this. This was also in my speed dating video, and even though it did not win, one of my good buddies on YouTube, Dan over at the Black and Blue Collared Reader, he twisted my arm to go ahead and read it because he's going to be reading it in August as well. So I'm very excited to read that. And then I will be reading And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I am continuing on my reread journey with Agatha Christie, favorite mystery writer of all time for me. And I will be buddy reading this with my good friend Mona Lisa from Mona Lisa Reads. So I'll leave her channel linked in the description below as well. And then I will also be reading Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. I am so excited to continue The Live Ship Traders and see where this story goes. I'm buddy reading this one with my good friend Danielle over at Bookcara, and I'll leave her channel below as well. We buddy read the first book together, and I'm so excited to continue. Now, I only did 4 books this month, but that's intentional. And in fact, I may have bitten off a bit more than I can chew with just those 4 books. Empire of the Vampire and Mad Ship alone are both chunky books. So the R. Scott Baker book isn't super chunky, but it's pretty dense, so I don't know what to expect there. So we'll see how my reading fares in August. So let's get around to what I have been watching, starting with the things I finished watching. The first one of those would be Alan Carr's Adventures with Agatha Christie. I'll tell you what, guys, my subscription to BritBox is paying off in spades. I have found so much great British content on that service. I'm loving it. It's got all the Agatha Christie television shows. It's got an Agatha Christie biopic that I really enjoyed. And this most recent foray into Agatha Christie content is the famous British comedian Alan Carr. And apparently he is just a huge Agatha Christie fanboy. And this docuseries was just charming. I just absolutely loved every minute of it. So I highly recommend that you watch that if you have BritBox. I don't think it's available anywhere else. So you may have to see if you can find it elsewhere if you don't have a BritBox subscription. But if you don't, BritBox is a great way to go if you like a lot of British television. I also finished watching Vinland Saga with my kids, season 2 of Vinland Saga, that is, and it just keeps getting better. And I'm kind of at the point where I think I really need to buckle down and actually read the manga, because I'm just not satisfied leaving off where I left off in the show. So now I need to go and read the manga and see what that is actually like. My kids and I also finished watching Midnight Mass. That is our third foray into the works of Mike Flanagan. And I have to say, guys, Mike Flanagan can do no wrong so far. I loved The Haunting of Hill House. I loved The Haunting of Bly Manor. Midnight Mass was just as good as those. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This guy's brilliant. And now he owns the rights to make a Dark Tower TV series by Stephen King. I'm there. Anything Mike Flanagan does, I will watch it religiously. And in the case of Midnight Mass, that was literal, because it's a religious horror series. It's so good, so good. I also watched Secret Invasion with my kids, one of the Marvel TV series, 6-episode series, and we watched through the whole thing and absolutely adored the show. At least I did. My kids enjoyed it as well. I don't think it's the best of the Marvel series, but it's definitely up there. It's a great crime and espionage thriller set in the Marvel universe. If you enjoy stuff like that, you should check it out. And then we continued watching The Walking Dead. We're about halfway through season 10 right now. And I also continued watching Downton Abbey, which I'm absolutely loving. Just a really great period drama. Dame Maggie Smith is just a gem. Her portrayal of Lady Grantham is my favorite character in the show, by far. I have a lot of favorite characters, but she is up there on the top. So, so good. And then we started watching Good Omens Season 2. It came out right at the end of the month, practically on July 28th. So it came out right at the tail end, so I will be continuing to watch that in August. We also started watching My Adventures with Superman, which is kind of a young adult Superman cartoon, but it's a lot of fun. I was really skeptical. Like, first off, Superman is not my favorite DC character. Don't everybody shoot me at once, please. But he's not. He's just, Batman is my favorite DC character. But I like Superman. I really, really enjoy Superman. It gives me like Richard Donner's Superman vibes, like the original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. It gives me those kind of vibes. And it also gives me Spectacular Spider-Man vibes, so it's kind of along the same level of entertainment that cartoon provided, and I'm here for it. I'm really enjoying it so far. We also started watching Midnight Club, which is another Mike Flanagan series, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's so good. I will be continuing to watch that in August. We started watching season 5 of What We Do in the Shadows, which is a vampire mockumentary. So if you like The Office, but you prefer vampires instead of office workers, this series is totally for you. It's great. We started watching an anime called Blue Lock, which is a soccer anime. And I'm not a huge sports guy, although I do really, really like soccer. And it's just about these soccer players who get invited to be in this elite training environment to make them better strikers. And so it's kind of interesting. It's really interesting to see the different personalities and how they play off each other. So I'm really enjoying it. I started watching Monster with my son. This, I can tell, is going to be one of my favorite anime series. Monster is just so, so good. And it's probably one of those that I'll have to go and read the manga afterward as well to see how it compares, because I'm just loving it. It's such a great crime thriller. I'm just there for it. Serial killer crime thriller. We also finally started watching Mandalorian Season 3. And we will be continuing that into the month of August, I believe. But we kind of had to put that on the back burner for other things. But we will eventually finish Season 3 of The Mandalorian. And then maybe, if there's time, I do want to start watching Season 3 of The Witcher. But that's kind of a show I usually watch on my own. It's not something my kids are really interested in watching, so I will be watching Witcher Season 3 eventually. I want to see how it plays out. I'm really sad about Henry Cavill leaving, but I really love this world, and so I'll at least watch Season 3, and I'll probably watch the next season to see what Liam Hemsworth is like in the role, but I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope for that. So, we'll see how that goes. I also need to start watching Season 2 of Foundation on Apple TV+. I'm so excited to see where that series goes. I really enjoyed Season 1, and even though it's completely different from the book, it still has enough of the bare bones from the book to make it coherent, but it takes it in a fresh direction. And I think that's something that's necessary with Foundation, because Foundation is very bare bones as far as plot-wise and time progression. It's kind of a book of short stories almost. So to make it a TV series, you kind of have to add in a lot of filler. But I think they've done it really well. So I'm excited to see where Season 2 goes. Let's move on to what I've been playing. I finally got back and started playing some of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So that's been fun. I haven't played it in a long time, so I finally got back to it. I started playing Super Mario Odyssey, which I was pleasantly surprised with. Of the three-dimensional style Mario games, I think this might be my favorite. I also started playing Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which is a remaster of the original Wii U game on the Switch. And I started playing that with my son. Since you can play multiple players, that was a lot of fun to play with him. And I also got on Board Game Arena with my good friend Josh over at Josh Yaks. And I'll leave a link to his channel below as well. And we played a game of Splendor together, so that was a lot of fun. And we're probably going to play more games on Board Game Arena together in the future. So I'm slowly getting the hang of Board Game Arena, but it's a whole different medium, so it's a bit to get used to, but I'm enjoying myself. And then I'll briefly talk about Chasm Friends. You guys probably noticed I did not have a Chasm Friends episode this month. I had someone lined up and I have not been able to reach them, and I just didn't make any other alternate plans. But I will be having some more Chasm Friends episodes, so never fear. I'm hoping to have one in August, so stay tuned for more information on that. And then the last thing I want to talk about on this video is my plans for my 4-year BookTube anniversary. I have been on BookTube 4 years, coming up the second week of August. And I am so excited. Tentatively, what I have planned is I'm going to be doing a live stream. I will be doing a Q&A on that live stream. It's going to be an open Q&A. You can ask me anything. If you want to send me questions ahead of time, you can do that as well. And I will be making a community post on YouTube where you can post those questions for me if you're not going to be able to make the live stream, or if you just don't want to ask your questions live. You can send those to me ahead of time, but I will be taking questions live on that live stream as well. And I'm also thinking that we may watch my very first video on YouTube on that live stream just for something different. So let me know if you're excited about that in the comments below, if you'd be interested in that. And I will also be giving some other channel updates and life updates and stuff like that. It's just, it's a lot of random chazziness, but it's live random chazziness. So if that sounds like fun, stay tuned. I will be posting information about when that live stream will be very, very soon. And all the specifics will be in the community post on YouTube where you can ask those questions. And if you have other ideas that you would like to see me do on that live stream, post those there as well. That will be great. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing that here in the next few days probably. And that about covers it, guys. That is my monthly update. Let me know what you thought about this format. Let me know if you have questions or comments about anything that I covered in today's video. And with that being said, make sure you guys read more books. I'll talk with you soon.